Alright, so this is the second tutorial. In the previous one, we covered how you can transfer the file from Rhino to Max with a unit, and how you can center the pivot, and how to do organize by renaming the geometry and merge, attach geometries together. So in this tutorial, I will talk more about edit, poly, and modifiers, how you can manipulate the geometries as a freeform model here in Rhino. So I will start with a simple one, this meshing model. So first I will just click this zoom to fit. You can do this for whatever view. So basically, if you make a selection and click, it will fit your selection in the view. Okay. So first thing, I will change my shading. You can also do is to change this to a full viewport. You can change your, let's make this bar a little bit vertical, so we can worry about this later. You can change the default shading to edged faces. So by doing so, you can see both the edge as well as the shades at the same time. You can definitely see the geometry has been triangularized. This is the default setting in when you transfer FBX in. So here I will go ahead talk more about this manipulation, editable mesh. In 3ds Max, there's two modes of polygon modeling, editable mesh or editable poly. They basically is the same thing, with just a little bit longer history for the mesh. Poly is relatively new, but they are kind of the same. So you can stay in either one. If I'm using the editable mesh and I have the components available, start with the points. So if you pick a points, you can see I can make a selection of points. I can move the points around, right? Control Z to undo. I can also pick this is called edge, right? So if you pick an edge, which will show up as a red color, then you can move the edge. You can see the geometry can be somehow opened up. Control Z to close. Or you can pick the face, which is here, or you can pick the quads, if you have quads there, or you can pick the entire objects. Right? But in this case, you do see if I actually move this away, it's actually split into individual pieces. The reason is, although the points match in the corner, but this vertex is not being welded. It's not a merged single point. It's multiple points right there. So maybe the first thing you would like to change is go to the points level. Then you can make a window selection. You select all the points related to this meshing. Then I'm going to merge all the points together. So here is an option called Weld Selected, and then this is the threshold. If the 2 points are within this range, they will be merged as a single point. The same tool, you can actually do this in Rhino as well. So once you click the merge or weld, then I can go back to pick a face. So now if I move my face, you see everything is attached together, right? Because the points in the corner has been merged as a single one. So this is a quick way before you do any editing, you can weld points together. For the triangle edges, really depends on, it's actually not a bad thing, but if you do want to make a quads, you can delete this single edge. Oh, actually, I can't really delete the edge since this will gonna violate the hierarchies. Okay, so let's keep this edge right there. But I want to do something to manipulate the face. So I want to manipulate the face. So here I can just pick up face, right? And then here I can do something. So I will start with a really simple one. This is probably the most straightforward one. It's called extrude. So here, if you extrude the face, you can basically push your button up. You can see the new face will be extruded this way. You basically get a new face. Actually, all the edges here, right? So in a lot of freeform modeling, this is the basic function. You can create a really complicated form just by extruding the original form. You can also do the bevel, which is a very similar like extrude. So extrude first, then if you move your mouse again, it basically allows you to bevel the edges. This could be really powerful if you are doing like furniture design and you want this these edges be smooth. You can do a bevel. You can do this actually to any face you like, and then move. So now you have this smaller face. Okay, so this is the freeform modeling, very easy approach. You can definitely do a lot of this kind of operation on top of your model to make manipulations. And any time if you pick the original face, you can always do W to move. So if you want to change the shape or change the proportion, this is really easy to do. So compared to Rhino, the meshing or the mesh editing tool here in 3ds Max is much more powerful than Rhino. Okay. So this is basically the we call this component editing mode. You can play with it. You can also play with other tools like you can slice the plan, you can cut, you can split. There's a lot of functions you can play with. Once you cut the tool, then you can pick a face. So now you should have a new face. Oops, it's a little bit slow. Right. So now you have this new cutted face you can manipulate. All right, so this is the component editing mode. The next one I want to talk really quick is the modifiers. So this is a list of modifiers available. It's a really long list. In the future, we're probably going to cover a few of them. So first, before you're using the modifier, make sure you get out of this object selection mode, from component mode back to the whole object. Because sometimes you are locked. I will show you. If you lock in this mode, right, you can do a lot of other things. You have to get out from this mode. Another trick I use all the time is if you don't want to accidentally lost your selection, you can use spacebar to lock. So here's a lock button. So if you click other place, you never lost your selection. But once you use spacebar again, you can unlock. So this is just a quick way you can switch between the locked selection to free selection. But anyway, I'm getting out of this, and then I will do a few modifiers. So the first one I want to show you is called quadify. It's basically convert all the triangles into quads. For architectural rendering, this could be sometimes really handy because we intend to have rectilinear shape. So quadify is a quick way. You can see the whole geometric mesh has been recomputed in this kind of new fashion, right? Quadify the mesh. Another tool I use quite a lot is called Turbosquid. So if you type T, Turbosmooth. Turbosquid is a website. You download the free model. So Turbosmooth. If you do that, you can see the model will be smoothed out. This could be really nice if you are doing something like playground. Everything is beveled edge, and here you can even increase the iterations from 1 to 3 maybe. Then you see the model will be actually dramatically increased with the smoothness, but it's too much. Maybe I go back to 1. So this is how you can smooth the model. Use the Turbosmooth. Okay. Another tool I used quite a lot is called Lattice, L-A-T, Lattice. Right. When you do the Lattice, everything will be create like a frame, a new frame system. And here you can choose with joints or no joints. I would do struts only, so no joints, so it's only in the frame. And also you can control the segments. Right now it's 4, it's minimum. You can control the radius. So there's a lot of things you can play. That looks pretty awesome actually, like a freeform. Okay, so that's about the lattice. As you can see, whatever modifiers you add on, they will build on top of each other. You can always reduce. You can remove this one. You can remove this one. This is kind of like a stacked hierarchy. One action after another action. It makes the file really slow if you have too many stacked on top. So at some point, you have to right-click, choose Collapse All. So that will compress all the history back to a single mesh, right? So I'm not doing this right now because I do want to keep these parameters accessible. So you can always change this, on the in the runtime. What else I want to do? Yeah, I want to show you really quick about the normal. Yeah, normal is very common. Basically, it allows you to flip the normals or unify the normals. This is very important in the future if you're doing, let me just turn off the lattice. If you are doing this in real-time rendering, it's only render a positive direction, not render the negative direction. So the face is only visible in one side. In some cases, you probably need to flip the normal or unify the normal. If the normal is wrong, you can. This is the place you can fix it, right? So just keep in mind, normal is the place you control the visibility. But since we're doing the lattice, everything is like a frame. There's no really a negative face facing out, so that should be fun. All right, so I have this form. Then let's talk quickly about what we can do with this one. This one is transferred directly from Rhino. Of course, I can do the same thing like a quantify. I can turbo smooth. I want to show you some other way you can manipulate. One way is a soft selection. This is actually pretty handy. If you choose soft selection and pick a point, you basically picked a range of points. Here you can define the fall off maybe as, let's do 2 meter, really large. Right? So here you can see the range of points. What happened is if I use a space bar, not space bar, I just going back to the top view. Just want to show you. So here if you make a selection, okay, and make sure fall off, let's get 2 meters, right? Right. So you have 2 meter fall off, right? So basically you select a range of points instead of a single points. So by doing so, maybe let's do this as a 1 meter just to make it easier. Right. So now if I move, you see what happened is you only move that portion of geometries. Right. They kind of maintain the softness of the whole form. Right. So here I can move that. This is a quick way if you want to quickly deform the geometry. Create some kind of organic feel, you can turn on the soft selection, and then you can make the points up and down. Now you can see some of the points has been bended or be more blobby shape. Right? So here I can change that. Right. So this is the quick way. So once you're done, then you can turn off the soft selection. Now let's take a quick look. Right. So that looks pretty interesting. The reason why this one looks, I'm still in the point selection mode. See that? So I have to get out. Right. So get out of this mode. Click again, get out. The reason why it looks like a black, it could be cause the normal. So let me do the normal flip really quick. Right. Once you flip the normal, you see it's facing outside. So now it looks normal now. Later you can apply the material. You can see the difference. With the flip the normal, the color will be solid. Okay, I think that's basically the manipulation I want to show you really quick. We covered bevel, extrude, lattice, normal, turbo smooth, collapse history. Let's talk really quick about collapse history so you can have some visual. So here if I have all the the history there, if I don't want to access this anymore, I will just do collapse all. Then you click yes. But before you do that, I would recommend you save the file because you probably want to have one version is not collapsed. So I will save as, I give this name playground 1. So this is my default. Okay. Then I will go ahead to collapse all the history. So yes. Right, so it's pretty clean. Same thing here. I will probably just do the collapse all. Yes. Right. So it's all cleaned. Then I will save as a different file name, right? So this is a good habit. In the future, you just want to make sure you save a file with different names. You always have some history. You can go back. All right, I think that's it about the basic manipulation, freeform modeling in 3ds Max.